Hey, welcome back to the Daily Narrative. This is Jeff. Today we are going to get into, is the GOP really trying to steal this election? What in the world is going on with Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Al Gore, Joe Biden, and where is this insanity, this violence coming from on the BLM, from the BLM? Crazy stuff going on. It's all going to start right now. Hey, and welcome back. So, crazy stuff has been going on. I mean, it's not even anywhere in the realm of sanity. I mean, that's the problem. So, the GOP trying to steal the election. First of all, let's start off with Nancy Pelosi's threats to Republicans. A couple days ago, she comes out and says that Republicans are an enemy of the state. An enemy of the state. Now, those types of accusations and threats is very, it doesn't even borderline on treason. It is treason. She has outrightly, very overtly threatened the presidency and the Republican Party by claiming that the presidency and the Republicans are enemies of the state. Now, I mean, could you imagine if this was the reverse? If you had, the other side saying that about about the Democrat Party or about Obama when he was in the White House, or even, right now with Joe Biden or anybody else. Could you imagine coming out and saying, as a Speaker of the House, that the presidency and the Republicans are actually can be considered an enemy of the state? Now, it goes even further because when they talk about and ask Nancy Pelosi about Biden actually debating President Trump, she actually says she wouldn't even give him any time because basically, their thought process here is, and this narrative that they're trying to promote, they're undermining, again, they're underhandedly and undermining the presidency. Then you have Hillary Clinton that comes out, and this was just reported, right? They came out. Hillary Clinton says that Biden should not concede the election under any circumstances. So they're already stating that, and I believe Hillary Clinton even said this before, that the fear was that Trump, if he did lose or does lose, that he won't concede, that he won't step down. And then Al Gore goes so far as to suggest that the military is going to have to remove Trump from office if he doesn't concede. A top general just came out yesterday and said the military isn't getting involved at all. That's what the lawyers are for. The military isn't going to take action. Now, what the left is suggesting is a coup to remove a president. What the left is suggesting that they themselves are making an attempt to steal this election, to defraud the American people, yet they're projecting it onto the Republicans. So here you have Hillary Clinton saying that no matter what, you don't concede the election under any circumstances. Now, 2016, Hillary Clinton lost. Hands down. It wasn't close. She lost. And it's amazing. So, she never got over this. Um, she go time and time and time again. She parades around, and then those on the left, like Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters, she's the one who came out and made a statement that you need to basically confront Republicans no matter where they are. So, or what's going on. So now what do we see? We see violence, 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 violent activity, coming from the left. This BLM movement, this Black Lives Matter movement has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, has everything to do with propping up the leftist agenda, propping up the Democrat Party. The Democrats realize they can't fundraise anywhere else. So they can't. So now there's a fictitious organization called this BLM that supposedly is helping the black community, but in fact doesn't care about black lives anywhere else unless they're criminals. And not even that, because the money that's being raised through the Black Lives Matter organization is being donated to the Democrat Party. But incidentally, this Black Lives Matter organization is also run under the guise, or it's under the guise of helping, but in fact, it's truly run by Marxists, and it was designed and developed by Marxists. Now, if you follow the line of money, where did the money come from? Who's behind it from a global international perspective? I don't know, but that's something that needs to be looked at. Is George Soros or any, foreign actors, foreign state actors involved in this organization? But now what we're seeing, especially at this convention, so you see individuals that are trying to shout down and drown out the message from a convention. Now, this is not done. You have right now two main parties in the United States, the Democrats, Republicans. They both have their convention. There's differences of opinion on both sides politically, but the left have embraced complete fascism. They've embraced the silencing of anybody who disagrees with them. Not only the silencing, but through violent means. Everything that we just saw on the streets, the burning of buildings in all these Democrat-run cities, where buildings are being burned down and looted. Now, how is that that's not protest, that's violent behavior. So, it's really unimaginable, that here we find ourselves in this predicament right now, where the Democrats, again, they're playing this game that they're projecting their own emotions and their own deep-rooted beliefs onto the Republican Party. And so what we're seeing is that the GOP isn't trying to steal the election. The GOP has been pushing for a fair, free election for all people, whereas the left is creating all these fictitious narratives, and the left has made a strong attempt at actually stealing the election and defrauding the American people out of a fair and free election. But it's amazing. It really is amazing. I mean, we could dig into this, so deep and just keep going on and on and on, with fact after fact after fact. Now, you look at what happened in D.C. So you have people sitting in a restaurant this past week, and now we see video of people that are surrounding them, screaming in their faces, and asking them to raise their fists. Now, what does that remind us of? So you have the political echelon, right, which is sitting in Washington, which is creating and spinning propaganda, and then you have the foot soldiers that are out on the streets that are forcing people, whether it's through intimidation like we just saw at these restaurants. They're outrightly trying to intimidate people to put their fist in the air. You go back a number of years to Nazi Germany, and you had the youth movements. You had the Hitler Youth that would do the exact same thing. They would parade around and they'd go and intimidate people to give the Nazi salute. So what's the difference between a Nazi salute and a fist in the air? Every time I see this BLM movement putting their fist in the air, all I think of is the Nazi salute, because that's what it is. So you have a bunch of racist individuals in the BLM movement that are anti-white or anti-establishment or anti-capitalist or anti-whatever it is. So you have a cohesive group of all these different hodgepodge. It's not even cohesive, but it's a hodgepodge group of all these different individuals. And one thing they have in common is this emotional, rage. I mean, and everything they do, it's not backed by fact. It's not backed by anything other than emotion. So they come out to the restaurants and they're screaming in the face of these individuals to intimidate them and force them to put a fist in the air. Now, same thing happened with Rand Paul as he's leaving the RNC. So these individuals out on the streets are screaming and threatening and saying they want to kill him and all this stuff. Now, in what normal society does that happen? When has that ever happened in the U.S.? When has the other side, the Republican Party, ever done that to Democrats as they're leaving and gather around and it never has happened, ever. It doesn't happen. Except on the left now, the intolerant left that has fully embraced this fascist ideology, it happens. So, there's one party out there right now that's doing everything they can, and they're backed up by this propaganda machine of the mainstream media. Very, very dangerous. So, but it's crazy. I mean, if it wasn't true, it would be like we're watching a comedy here. But anyhow, so that's enough for today. We'll check back in with something else, another crazy topic like this on the next Daily Narrative. Again, this is Jeff. You're here with the Daily Narrative. I definitely look forward to seeing you back on the next episode. Make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button I should have asked in the beginning and leave some comments. And we'll see you on the next one.